Can pain and trauma trigger your eating? Wow, I'm here to talk to you about a touchy subject, and I touched on it a little bit yesterday. And some of you that are following my journey would know what I'm talking about. So I triggered an old back injury about 3 weeks ago, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling with some pain in my back at the moment. So I had a severe injury many years ago and re-injured it again after that. So I've injured my back twice quite severely in my life, and one of them was also linked to quite a traumatic event. So, you know, what I wanted to talk about is that when you experience pain again during a traumatic event, the survival part of your brain takes over, and it just completely knocks out all critical thinking. It just knocks it offline, because your pain has a memory and it triggers the same almost habits and behaviours that were linked to this particular part of your life and this particular part of your trauma. And for me, it very much rings true that, you know, I turned to food during these times in my life, feeling very sad and sorry for myself. You know, I couldn't move, and so I would just sit on the couch and eat. Makes me a little bit emotional talking about it. And so those triggers for me are very, very real, because when you are in pain and you're in discomfort, it's bad enough to try to feel better during your day. And then when you have these factors that come in over the top that are stronger than you, whether they're linked to physical trauma, mental trauma, emotional trauma, how do you cope with that? You know, pain has this trigger and memory of your past cycles. And, you know, there's even research now, which I've been looking into, that, you know, systematic inflammation can directly be linked to trauma that impacts parts of your brain. And, you know, I do believe that sometimes when you are experiencing pain, some of that pain can be memory pain rather than physical pain. And link that with emotional eating and how you use food to make yourself feel better. And in comes the other part that I want to talk about and link into that, is that your gut microbiome is also linked to what's going on in your brain. We always talk about your brain in your gut brain, and more and more we are learning that gut health is so important. And I've been learning a lot this week about the gut microbiome and doing a lot of study. And I'm going to come in and do a little video about that. But today, you know, based on this, you know, trauma research that I'm doing, you know, because I'm trying to educate myself, you know, with how to cope what's going on in my body, the two are actually connected. You know, the links in my stomach and the messages it's sending your brain. So, you know, what happens is one is triggering the other. And when you have a lot of good bacteria in your gut, what happens is you're able to control these cravings. So, you know, we call them, you know, your good bacteria, your bad bacteria, and your passenger bacteria. And they travel up and down the vagus nerve and send messages to your brain. So the more good bacteria you have in your gut, the stronger you are somewhat to resist temptation, right? Because the good bacteria is winning over the bad bacteria. But let's say that, you know, you binge eat and you go and you have something to eat. Give me some love, say hi. Oh, my beautiful friend Wendy, all the way from Melbourne. I miss you so much. What happens when you eat poorly is your bad bacteria will rise in your gut, and it's going to start to take over a little bit of that good bacteria. And the more bad bacteria you have in your gut, the higher that level rises, and the higher the signal and the stronger the signal is telling to your brain, go and eat that sugar. And I did another live on that last week, sugar fuel versus fat fuel. So my body at the moment is having that little bit of a fight, and I'm on 80-20. So, you know, I am very, very strict during the week, and on the weekend I allow myself, you know, to eat a little bit off program, and I'm able to maintain my weight. But what happened today is I am really struggling, and I was struggling yesterday, but yesterday I was strong enough, and I went outside and I did some gardening and I distracted myself. But today I've woken up and I'm really in some pain. And I just had my afternoon coffee, and my arch nemesis, the biscuit, crept in. Wendy knows about the biscuit. Send me some love. Do you know about the biscuit? So that biscuit crept in this afternoon. And that's because those feelings up here are linked to the feelings in my gut. And pain brings emotion, emotion brings pain, pain triggers memory, memory triggers past trauma. And there's so much about Toni Swan that I have to share with the world. And real trauma, real emotional trauma, real physical trauma exists for many of us, and we live with it daily, and it's how we cope. So I'm human, and I'm letting you know that today I had a little moment of weakness, but the good thing is I'm strong, and it'll end at that biscuit. Just one. I had one. And I've held myself accountable by even saying it live. I'm human. I can have a biscuit. But I'm disappointed with myself, because usually my Monday to Friday, I'm very, very strict. And that's how I've managed to stay on my 80-20. So I'm just disappointed in myself. But I do recognize that these triggers sometimes are stronger than me. So what I've done is I've reached out. I reached out to a friend, and now I'm reaching out to you to let you know that it's real. And to my mentees out there that I've had conversations with today that are struggling, you're human too. And I'm here and I understand. And the best part is don't let the rest of your day be a blowout. I ate beautifully clean all day. I'll eat beautifully clean for the rest of the day. I've already got my dinner prepared, and this is how I will get through. So I hope you've gotten some value, and I hope you can see that Toni Swan is real, just like you. And every now and again, a biscuit falls into my coffee. Have a good rest of the evening. Good night.